For centuries, sailors crossing the open ocean returned with stories of massive, serpentine creatures rising from the depths. Ship logs recorded terrifying beasts stretching over 10 meters long, featuring shimmering silver bodies and a bizarre red crest crowning their heads. Today, we know exactly what those sailors saw. When this animal washes up on shore, the sheer scale of the elusive oarfish is undeniable. Its bizarre physiology still generates rumors globally, with cultures believing its arrival foretells an impending earthquake. But our entire understanding of this animal is based on incredibly skewed data. We only ever see the oarfish when it is sick, fatally injured, or violently displaced from its natural habitat. To figure out how this animal actually operates, we have to ignore the dead specimens on our shores and follow the living creature down into the crushing pressures of the deep ocean. We have to descend thousands of meters into the mesopelagic and bathypelagic zones, the dark layers of the ocean, where sunlight entirely disappears, temperatures plummet, and the water pressure would crush most surface life. Here, the oarfish doesn't thrash through the water. Instead, it propels itself using a continuous wave that ripples down its enormous dorsal fin. This hovering motion is highly energy efficient. In an environment where food is scarce, the fish survives by drifting silently, almost like a living ribbon suspended in the water. It is a completely passive existence. The creature that inspired centuries of naval terror spends almost all of its time hanging vertically in the dark, barely moving at all. The terrifying serpent of the surface is actually an incredibly fragile phantom, highly adapted to conserve energy in the silent abyss. Its survival depends on a massive nightly migration. As the sun sets far above, clouds of tiny marine organisms begin to drift upward through the water column. This is what the giant eats. Instead of hunting large prey, the longest bony fish on Earth sustains itself entirely on plankton and tiny crustaceans. It relies on specialized gill structures to gently filter these microscopic meals out of the water, trapping the nutrients while expelling the rest. In this ecosystem, the 10-meter fish is far from an apex predator. It is actively hunted by deep-diving mammals like sperm whales. Large sharks also patrol the same depths. With no armor and very little speed, the oarfish relies purely on the vast, pitch-black expanse of the ocean to hide from detection. The oarfish is not a vicious attacker. It is a highly vulnerable survivor navigating a dangerous ecosystem, trying to avoid the real monsters of the deep. So the legendary sea serpent is actually a gentle, drifting filter feeder. A moment of wonder. But while we know the basic mechanics of how it eats and moves, the rest of its life cycle is almost entirely undocumented. We have no solid data on how far these animals migrate, how long they live in the wild, or how they interact with each other in the dark. When one of them washes up on the shore, the limited evidence we gather rarely provides definitive answers. Instead, it forces marine biologists to ask even more complex questions about how life operates under immense pressure. The oarfish proves that our oceans still hide massive, bizarre creatures. But its true value lies in exactly what we don't know. Serving as a 10-meter reminder of a vast biological universe we have barely begun to map.